Ladies and gentlemen, meet the 2016 Mini Clubman. The Clubby, if you will, if you're a Mini aficionado. And because you asked for it, we've got something special. We've got the base version, and that is coming up right now on the Fast Lane Car. Alright guys, this is going to be a little messy because we're doing about 4 things at the same time.
Everything Roman does is messy.
That's what she said.
Oh,
that's what he said. Oh! I'm here with Nick Miles from Test Miles, my buddy from Portland.
Yes.
And from, how many TV stations do you work for now? Like 3,000?
Yes, something like that.
He works in one of the local markets near you.
Yes.
And we're in the new Mini Clubby.
Yeah, the Clubby.
Yeah, the Clubby. That's what the insiders call it.
Doesn't it sound like some kind of like sexual thing that you belong to? I'm going down to the Clubby to, you remember those guys that get dressed up in their animal costumes? They're called furries.
Yeah, I know the furries.
They like to have sex. The Clubby sounds like it should be a branch of that. You dress up in leopard skin loincloths and carry clubs and be caveman-esque.
You could. In other words, this is a Clubman. I don't even know where to go with that thing.
Sorry.
These people came here to see a car review, not talk about weird fetishes.
That's why you went to video editing school. You cut me out.
We will not cut you out. We are very transparent. And here's the cool part, guys. We're in Savannah, Georgia, and we've got the base Mini Clubman. Not the. I've got 2 Monronis here. The one next to us right there, that is the Cooper S, and that one comes in at, dude, check this out. Where's the final price? $36,850, but ours, in this peppercorn white color, comes in at $26,500.
Yeah, I'm more of the $26,000 kind of guy.
Yeah, because you guys keep commenting saying we only review the top of the line car, so me and Nick spent, all last night?
Yeah. Coming up with a plan to bamboozle you.
No, hunting down the only base Cooper Clubman that they have, not the Cooper S, right?
Plus, I think white, the other colors they had were like silver and gray and stuff, and white is much better.
So in my hands I hold 2 Monronis. One is to this car and the other is to the Cooper S. So let's talk about the price difference. The base Cooper Clubman starts at $24,100, and when you get one that's, well, relatively bare, then it goes all the way up to $26,500, which is still expensive, but nevertheless an entry-level Clubman. Now over here, the Cooper S version, which has the bigger engine, that one starts at $27,600 and goes all the way up to $36,800. So the difference between the Cooper S and the one that we'll be reviewing is a whopping $10,000.
Roman, what did we learn today when we got in the Clubman?
We learned that if you're driving a manual, you have to depress the clutch before it will start. But I'm so used to driving the expensive, top-of-the-line automatic, so it was just odd to be in a manual base model, that's all. Hey, can you read out the horsepower?
Yes. Where would I? Is it?
It's over there.
Now you can see how old I am because I'm blind.
I think it's
this
100.
Is a 1.5 liter. Is it a 3-cylinder? Yeah, it's probably a 3-cylinder.
Yeah, it's all 3-cylinder. Yeah.
134 horsepower and 162 pounds-foot of torque.
Under the hood of this Cooper, not the Cooper S, but the Cooper, we have a 1.5 liter twin power turbo that is of course sourced from BMW, since BMW owns Mini. Now this particular engine puts out 134 horsepower and 162 pound-foot of torque, and it's that torque that you feel when accelerating. It is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. So what does that mean when we get it on the road? Well, only one way to find out. I'm flooring him. I can't keep up with him. He's faster. Come on. Oh, it's a little bit on the sluggish side.
Oh, dear.
There it comes. Now the turbo. There we go. It's a little on the sluggish side. Yeah, there's definitely
But look, I mean, it's kind of interesting. You look at it against the Fiat 500.
Yeah.
The Fiat 500 looks just nothing.
Tiny. Look at how tiny that is. Look, I get it. You know, the original Mini was certainly an economy car, right? In the truest
It was called
sense.
a nurse's car at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was really made for the district nurse to go around houses where you couldn't afford a car. It was kind of like the entry-level vehicle.
And BMW has made it into a premium car. The steering is a little on the numb side, too, if I'm being honest. It's a little bit, I shouldn't say numb, maybe artificial would be a better word, right?
You just drive by wire?
Of course, everything is now. It's all electric, I'm sure. Yeah. So it's a little bit, it still has that go-kart feel, but it's got that go-kart feel in a little bit of an artificial sort of way. So you can tell it feels just a little over-boosted, as opposed to kind of being completely honest, where it exactly communicates what the road is doing.
Right.
But you know what? I think these are very subtle things that most people who are buying Minis won't really notice and won't care about. Now, if you've been in a Mini recently, then the interior of the Clubby will seem very familiar to you. Let's call it BMW Light. It's stylish, it's comfortable, it's well appointed, and it's premium. And that's what BMW is going for. They're taking a Mini, which used to be kind of, well, let's say an entry-level subcompact, and turned it into a much more premium driving experience. And the BMW-ness of this car comes through when you're sitting behind the wheel, and that's a good thing because it feels solid and it feels expensive.
It doesn't look like a Mini, does it? It has a new look to it.
You know what I like about it? It's wide and it's kind of compact in the vertical direction, right? So it's much wider than it is taller, and it gives it kind of this kind of mean low stance. I really do like the
Or
back of it.
short and fat like a hobbit.
Well, if you look at those turn signals, those could be, you know, those little lights could be eyes, right? And then it kind of got more of a growly expression.
I think they've done a good job in designing the rear end of this.
Yeah.
But I
think
say
they
that
have.
a lot about rear ends. It's interesting that
We're the wrong channel.
they did horizontal lights instead of vertical lights.
Just like in the regular, in the Cooper, in the regular. Yeah, you're right. No, it looks good. It looks really good, and I also
and
like.
it has hips. Look how big the hips are.
Yeah, it's hippie. It's got those cute two little wipers, right? One for each of the doors. Everything is very symmetrical, and you know, as a British former.
An expatriate.
That's right. You know that these cars are designed very symmetrically because in half of the markets, you know, this would be on that side and that would be on this side. So everything they do has to be symmetrical so that you can flip-flop it for different markets for ease of manufacturing to keep the price down.
You know what would be really easier? If Americans would just learn to drive on the other side, on the right side of the road.
This car is remarkably well put together. It feels so much more solid. You know, we have a 2008 Mini Cooper S convertible, and it feels like a bunch of little parts screwed together that now are starting to fall apart.
Can I ask you to tell me what you like about Mini and what you dislike about Mini?
That's a great question. You know, the one thing I like about Mini is actually the most iconic thing about it, the fact that it's Mini, right? But these cars are no longer Mini.
Right.
These are becoming bigger cars.
They're the new Mini, and I think BMW worked very hard to try and keep them in the same company, but keep the original mantra, keep the original DNA of a Mini, but at the same time make them not so unreliably British. Right?
Yeah.
They're trying to make the brand solid.
Yeah, and I think they've succeeded with this. And I also think that BMW did what BMW does best, and that is design a really great engine. This thing, you know, for being the base model, even driving it around here. And
it's the same engine as the i8, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same engine as the i8, exactly. It's peppy, it's fast, and part of that could be because I'm coming from a mile above sea level, so anything I get into at sea level seems peppy and fast. But yeah. The other thing I like about Mini is the fact that when you buy a Mini, you're not buying the car, but you're buying into a lifestyle.
Right.
Like people wave to each other. Right. Mini takes the States, which is this cross-country road trip that a lot of the enthusiasts get into.
Yeah.
It's a niche brand, but it's also a niche lifestyle, and it's kind of youthful and it's fun and it's it's cool.
It is. It's sort of got that touch of the swinging 60s at the same time, sort of modern, navigation in the cars.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Short skirts, the whole.
I've got my short skirt on right now.
Mini skirts, the whole.
You know, I'm wearing my Union Jack underwear today, right?
Are you really?
Yeah.
You have to. Doesn't one always have to when in a Mini?
Wait.
I'm 6'2", which makes me relatively tall, but if you look, I actually have plenty of knee room and plenty of headroom driving behind myself in the Mini Clubman. And let's face it, this is why you buy a Clubman. It's because you want the peppy, perky, fun to drive aspect of a Mini, but at the same time, you want some utility room. You want some space to load stuff. And at least back seat room, you're gonna be able to put 4 people in here relatively comfortably. What do you like about Mini, Nick?
I'll tell you what I like about Mini, all the things that you like. I like the maneuverability, the go-kart handling, the fact that the wheels are placed very far to the corner, so it's very easy to drive. The one thing about Mini I don't like is the price. I think if you get a fully loaded Mini where the way you want it, which is just really acceptable to me, you can get up to $50,000.
Whoa.
And it starts to get,
very
ridiculous.
expensive, very quick, yeah.
I mean, the Cooper S, it does do 35 miles a gallon, which is amazing.
What does this one do? What's our EPA numbers?
EPA numbers are 28 is the average of the combined fuel economy, 25 in the city, 35 on the highway. 35 on the highway is pretty good. It's 32 for the Cooper S. Yep. The thing about the Cooper S, though, when you start to look at price, the price comes in a lot heavier at $36,000. You can load up some of these Minis with everything, and 40 odd thousand, 45. You put extras on it. You put the colored roofs and the Union Jack covers over your mirrors and all this.
Exactly right.
And you push it really high in price.
All right, so what I want to do is just give one kick under the license plate, and I get the flash of the light, so that lets me know the door is opening, and then one more kick underneath.
Always. We can get it. Try again.
So to give a little bit of background, there's a logarithm that's looking at the movement underneath. So what it's looking for is it's looking for that foot movement.
There it goes. This, by far, is my favorite part of the Clubman, and the reason that people are going to buy this car. It's these really handy barn doors. Check it out. Look at all that space. All right, it's not all that cavernous, but for a Mini, it's about as big as it gets. It will fit a decent amount of luggage. You do have 60-40 folding seats, and if you happen to be an animal person, you can certainly fill this back up with, well, I don't know if it would be a plethora of dogs, but a bunch of dogs. And you get these really cool doors, and check it out, even dual wipers. How cool is that?
You know what I want?
What do you want?
Is a clubby John Cooper works.
All right, Minnie,
now we're talking.
Are you listening? And the ride is good. This highway isn't great. There's a lot of expansion joints, and the car is soaking them up with ease. The driving position is very comfortable. It's, Germans, let's face it, BMW owns Mini. You guys probably know that. But Germans build cars, and this is a very specific problem to me for tall people, so I always fit in a German car. I can't say that about some of the Asian brands, and so I feel comfortable in here. I feel like...
Although there are certain Asian vehicles that are designed for taller people, like the CR-V.
Yeah, of course. But it's like forget about the BRZ or the FRS. I just will not fit in those 2 cars. But anyway, I feel good. I feel comfortable. I could see myself driving.
I could actually get a helmet on in this.
You could get a helmet.
So then, if you're approaching the car, if you don't have comfort access on every single Mini, even through the key fob, you can just simply press and it opens. And because these absorbers are, they're pressurized, just the opening of the mechanism just brings.
And if you do it again, the other half opens.
Okay, and
there you go.
One more click gets it there.
And how many cubic feet are back there?
So with the seats up, 17.5, and with the seats down, 47.9. So it even gives us another 5 cubic feet compared to the Countryman. And because every car comes standard with the flat load floor, all you have to do is just simply push the seats forward, and you have a completely flat surface.
And there's something under there, right? There's a
and then flat load floor gives you a lot of extra space here, so you can do a space saver spare. That's a $100 option.
Or run flats are standard, right?
Yeah, run flats are standard, but you could have, just for extra peace of mind, you could have a spare. 60-40 split is standard. You can also do an optional 40-20-40, which is great for skis and surfboards and the like.
Perfect. On the floor in second gear, I'm at 4,000 RPM.
87.
Right, let's check this out. Oh, that's good. It's hanging on, man. It is hanging on, dude.
Yeah,
by the skin of its teeth. Oh, a little bit of push there, a little bit of front end push. It is front wheel drive and it is front engine. So up to the limit, it's relatively neutral, and then all of a sudden, you know, then I put on the brakes and that back end wanted to come around. Nice. And all of a sudden, I unloaded the rear end. Let's face it, this is no longer a small car, but I love what they've done with it. They've taken it, kind of squished it, they've made it wider, they've made it longer, they've made it more purposeful, and nowhere is that better to be seen than in the back. I mean, look at this back. It's about as sexy as a Mini gets, and I think that's saying a lot for what in America is a very unsexy model, the station wagon, what in the UK, of course, would be the estate wagon. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Don't forget to check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and everyday real-world mini clubby estate reviews. See you next time. Ciao. That's a mouthful. Welcome to the Phoenix Auto Show, International Auto Show. Go figure. Every year we like to do a fun video from here, and this year we thought, you know what? Let's do a video that focuses on the top 5 often overlooked cars. And this, of course, is not one of them. It's the brand new Mazda Miata, but this over here is certainly one of them. It's the Mazda 3. And oftentimes when people think of compact cars in this segment, they think Civic, they think Corolla, but they don't think Mazda. And the reason for that is, well, Mazda has a very small dealer network. It doesn't have the publicity dollars, but it does have one hell of a good car. This is probably the sportiest car in this segment. It's certainly the most fun to drive, and it's number 5 on our list of top 5 often overlooked cars.